let's have a chat about your thing going on here.
Okay.
So why don't you start with giving us just a summary of what goes on here at Tintagel?
Our focus is teaching medieval historical skills, primarily medieval martial arts such as 15th century German longsword, sword and buckler, armored combat, and then also we have the culture classes such as costume making or calligraphy. We have parties, social events for the students, and we try to make it a nice community for people to have fun in.
How long has it been running?
This is our 3rd year, and despite an earthquake, we're still here.
What made you start the club 3 years ago?
Well, mostly I needed space. I've been practicing. I'd had a medieval group here in Japan for some time, but we were practicing in the parks, and there was never space to do what I wanted. I tried to use the kominkans to teach longsword. That didn't work out because really they're mostly for Japanese martial arts, and it was hard to schedule anything enough in advance. And so I started a quest to find me a space large enough to be able to have the kind of activities that I wanted to teach. And it took about 30 Fudoyo-sans, but we finally got there.
And how many members do you have at the moment?
Right now we have about 40 members. Some of them, most of them are here in Tokyo or in this area within about an hour's ride. But we have a few that are down in Osaka who are long-distance members. We have a distance membership, which is very cheap, that lets people come up for just 1 day a month to participate.
Now, this kind of club in the center of Tokyo is quite a rare thing.
We're the only ones. So.
It's not the kind of club that people imagine exists in Tokyo. Why? Why is this club in Tokyo? Is my main.
Because I was in Tokyo and I needed people to fight, and I've been doing medieval martial arts for some time, and I was hoping to get together a group of like-minded people so that we could study together and have some good times, drink a few beers, and just relax. So the U.S. has a very large reenactment community based with the SCA, and I've always admired their ability to both be serious about the history on an individual level, but as a group have fun and be flexible and mix sort of humorous activities with the fighting. And I was hoping for a similar feeling over here.
When you came to Japan, did you imagine that you'd have this kind of a club?
No. I originally came here as an English teacher. I graduated with a degree in ESL and then linguistics, and thought that I would continue teaching university and JET and things like that. But I'm much happier as a swordwork instructor.
What kind of events do you hold in a month?
Usually we try to have one medium to large event per month. We will have tournaments, parties. We had a pirate themed party in which everyone fought on pirate ships, and afterwards we had a rum social with pirate drinking songs. We've had reenactments, small scale reenactments of famous battles like the Battle of Jargeau and the 100 Years' War. We do one-on-one tournaments. We will do unarmored open tournaments that are open to someone from any other school may join into the tournament. And there's a freestyle section where it doesn't matter what style, katana, Filipino stick fighting, you can join in. Because I like for my students to not, if we just fight ourselves, the style becomes very inbred, whereas this allows us to interact with a whole group of people and have that kind of experience.
Why do you think your club would be good for an average person in Tokyo? I mean, how do you think they could benefit from coming to your club events?
I would say mentally stimulating, good exercise, and quite social. This is not a normal kind of martial arts, and I don't think that we teach it in a normal way. I'm not good with hierarchy, and I'm not. I came at this originally less as a sports person and more as a scholar who is interested in historical fact that we've researched. And in that sense, it's much more. I'm open to much more discussion, and we'll see what if we all have the correct interpretation. I enjoy that kind of debate on these topics. Physically, lots of exercise. We try to train up so that we can fight in full armor, and that involves a certain amount of body weight exercises and cardio. I've had several students who came in either very thin and underweight or pretty tubby and overweight, and after 6 months were fairly strong people. I've been impressed by how people took things seriously and tried to become good at the art. Socially, like I said, when I built this, I wanted us to be more of a community, so we could have a bunch of friends together and have a good time. And I really tried to structure Tintagel so that people will get together, make new friends, meet people from all over Tokyo and all over the world, because it's a very international school. We've had classes where 3 or 4 different languages were being spoken at one time, no problem.
Have you ever had an injury yourself in your history of doing this?
In my history of doing this, broken fingers mostly, not really, pretty much in line with any sports like soccer or American football or basketball. The worst I have seen was a dislocated finger. No, we've actually had we've been quite fortunate with our safety record. We have a hospital up on the hill, but we've never had to use it for anything from the fighting. But I think that's pretty much what people can expect, is the usual run that you get from sports. Possibly knees, possibly fingers.
How did you get interested in this originally?
Originally?
Yeah, when you were a kid, did you read stories of King Arthur and Camelot, and did that inspire
all
you?
of that, and all the D&D books, and then Star Wars, and every fantasy geek thing you can possibly imagine. And as a redneck in southern Missouri, I was fairly, that was a sort of unusual interest to take. Even when I was a kid, I would make spears and throw them at hay bales, and my brother and I would do mock knife fighting. And this is sort of an extension of my childhood interest, I guess you'd say. But all of that went until graduate school. I had an office mate in graduate school who was a member of the Society for Creative Anachronism. He invited me to the practice. I got to armor up for the first time. Did not do very well at all, but loved it and came out after that and stayed with it, because it was about as much fun as I'd ever had. Nice people, good times.